welcome back to Fair Iron and Customs. I'm Michael. Hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. This is not how I intended for this video to go. I had intended on getting the steering sorted on the Volkswagen, and what I have come down to on that, and we'll talk more about it when we get to the steering video, is this box right here is a Saginaw 525 off of a 74 C10. My intention was to reverse this, but this is just not going to work out. So I have another box coming, and we'll talk more about it when it gets here. So also, laying up here on my little makeshift bench made out of a forklift tine, is I was trying to determine what the balance on the 302 I have out in the shop is, and it's tore apart and it's in boxes, and there were 3 cranks out there. So I went and said, well, one of the things they say how you can tell that it's a 28 ounce imbalance is it has a 2-piece rear main seal and has this flange on it. So this is definitely a 28 ounce crank. So what I wanted to do was say, oh yeah, well, it's supposed to have a casting number on it. And I looked all over it, and the casting number is supposed to be 2M, I think. And I looked all over it, and I found this. This is the date code, the production date on it. 0 is the year of the decade that it was produced. K is the month, which was October. K is October. 22 is the date of the month. Okay. So I'm looking for the casting number on it. Is supposed to be 2M for a 302. And this is the only other thing I could find. Well, I did a Google search and couldn't find it and couldn't find it. Finally, come down to it, this crankshaft is for a 255. And supposedly you can tell that because it's a 1J and it has cross-drilled main journals. This crankshaft is about 10 to 11 pounds lighter than a 302 crankshaft is. So, you know, not necessarily a bad thing if you wanted to build an engine that spun up really tight, but also a bad thing because you're taking a lot of strength out of your crankshaft by cross drilling those bores right there. Okay guys, enter crankshaft number 2. I did look for the production date on this crankshaft and was unable to find it. It's got a little bit of rust, light rust on the journals. I think that'll clean up without a problem. Even if it's got to be turned, we'll mic this crank and see what these bearings are at. But this is what we're looking for. 2M. This is a 302 crankshaft, and it's 28 ounces of imbalance. Okay, for those of you that are not aware, all the motors were 28 ounces of imbalance. The Windsor motors were until 1980, and then the 302 went to 50 ounce of imbalance. And the cranks are different. The flywheel is different, and also the balancer is different. So I have got a 28 ounce flywheel for a manual transmission. The wife and I talked about it. She says I need to put a manual in the truck, so I've got the flywheel, but I need everything from the block forward. So I need a timing cover, I need a balancer, and I need everything on the front of the block for the accessories. We're not going to run anything but an alternator unless I can find the brackets to put a York compressor on there, and then we may run a York compressor for the air management on the truck. And we'll get into that later on. So that's all I got. Like I said, guys, I got a bunch of stuff in the works. I got the steering on the Volkswagen. I want to get this motor, I want to get the flathead back in the 50, at least out of the shop, so I'll have room in here. I've got a sheet of steel to make the C notches and whatever I need to Z the front frame in the truck and to box in the entire chassis on the truck. So we've got that. We're getting prepared to get on that F1 just as hard as we can. We just got to get some more stuff out of the shop so I'll have room so I can get in here and work. Anyway, that's it for this week. I hope everyone has a great week this week. I hope to have you a video next week on either this engine or putting the steering on a Volkswagen, and that's going to depend on when that steering box gets here. See y'all later.